So hi everyone, this is your boy AZS, means Ashar Zawar Sayed. You well know me. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna prepare for the mids of OOP. So we have done setter getters and we know what are arguments and what are private data members and what are non-static and static things. Okay, so we are gonna conclude these all things in a single program. So what I thought so that it would be better to solve the assignment 3 question number, maybe it was second. Yeah, so in this we have a class distance. So from here we are gonna do this, and then we are gonna go into the difference between the very it was I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the reference and pass by values and pass by reference. So we're gonna do that, and then the arrays, and then what um, it was association, yeah, and things related to that, and then we are going to do string. So we are going to sum up all those things which I told you previously, the setter getters and all those things in this program, and then we are going to move on. So basically I usually make UML diagram from whatever the data is provided to us. So it gets better for me to not go again in the lines and then conclude all the things and then extract again, start extracting again. So I better do the UML diagram, and then I basically did. So I'm gonna give you a briefing or whatever, a short briefing on this UML diagram which I made. So I'm gonna make a class distance which have two private data members, feet and inches, and then I'm gonna make a method. So I'm gonna do this with setter getter. Whatever a program I'm doing, I'm gonna do this with the setter getters. But it is basically the demand of the teacher, whatever she says. So I'm gonna make two methods here: add distance, which is gonna add two basically objects, and then I'm gonna take another object named equal. So what it's gonna do, I'm gonna compare these two methods, basically the added object and the object which is taken from the user as input, and check whether they are equal or not. So this is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start with the distance class. So I'm gonna start with the distance class, and then I'm gonna use the two private members, feet and inches, and then make setter getters, and then come to the other point. So firstly I do this with distance runner. So one class is the main class. Okay, from where we are gonna make objects, and then we are gonna be calling those objects. So yeah, it is ready. Now I'm gonna go in the company dot distance and make another class which will be our class in which we'll be making methods and setter getters and all those things. So starting out with this, so basically it's a class distance. Uh, the very first data provided to us was to make distance class. So it is done. Now we will be making two private data members, so feet and inches. Basically it wasn't provided to us that whether to use it as static, as private, as public, whatever. No type of that restriction was provided, or whatever restriction was taken into account in this program. So we are going to use the private, because it is the basically purpose of OOP to use it as private data members. That's why we are making objects. Okay, so feet and inches. So private, so I'm gonna take double feet private. So we are gonna do the static and non-static things in this. We are gonna modify this program later on to get those static and non-static static concepts. So I'm gonna use the inches part, which is also the double. So basically the very next thing is to make setter getters. So I will be making setter getters, which, so no, the very first thing is to make no argument and two argument construct. So public distance, so I'm gonna use no argument constructor s out here. So basically I will comment it. So the very first thing is done. So coming to the next part, I'm gonna use the other approach here of the syntax to not let this thing come in a way that, okay, so yeah, now I'm gonna make argument constructor. Okay, so here what type of arguments I will provide to this will be from the main function. So I will be going in the main function. Now here, as you know that, oh, okay, so the input part we will do it later on. So what we will do is we have used no argument constructor. So how we pass values to it, how we pass reference to it, whatever it is, through an object. So I'm gonna make an object d1 of the class distance. So basically new will allocate a memory space of the object distance, and I'm gonna आ रहा हूँ हाँ जैन जी नहीं 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 मैं 5 मिनट में आता हूँ ये एक काम करे ना उसको मुताया को भेज दे मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ हाँ जी हाँ जी चलें ठीक ठीक ओके love sorry where were we so I'm making an object of the class. Okay, so here we have used the no argument constructor. So this is basically we have made an object d1 that has no arguments in it. We are passing no reference, no values from this object. So what we are gonna do is now we have to basically get any input from the user and send it to the class distance. So for that I am gonna import a class java.util. Basically it's gonna use the utilities. Okay, import java.util. Okay. So here I'm gonna make an object of the class scanner isme is equal to new scanner system dot in. Okay, we have made an object of the class. Now what we are going to do is we are gonna pass we're gonna ask from the user the values of, okay, feet and inches, feet. So first we are talking, okay, now it's gonna ask from the user to enter the feet. Okay, now what we are gonna do is we're gonna take feet into the object with the help d1 with the help of the object isme of the scanner class. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I don't know. Hmm. Hmm. चलिए ठीक 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 ठीक. So now I have to take the input from the user of feet. I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, sorry, using double, I'm gonna make, I wanna take the input from the user into the variable f1. So with the help of scan object. So whatever the input the user gives will be saved in f1. Now I'm gonna take inches. So I'm gonna make another I1 is equal to इसमें dot next double. So both values are now taken from the user. Now I have to pass these values into the setter getter. Now from there here I have to pass the values with the help of setter getter. We will not, we don't need any type of argument constructor in that scenario. But after that I will be taking values, I will passing values with the help of arguments in the very next object. I'm not gonna take the user from the input. So basically it wasn't our demand to either take the values of these uh, uh, that object which I made in the main class to be uh, sent by setter getter. It was our choice. So I will be sending the second object with the argument constructor. So here I will be uh, what do we call this thing? Yeah, the parameters. Is it the parameters? Parametric values. Parameters in Java. Yeah, the formal parameters. Okay. So I'm gonna take the fee. Oh, sorry, it was the. I always forget because we don't wouldn't maybe used double in C++ very less. We always used to take values in integer form. So I'm gonna take double feet, double inches. Now the values are there. Now I'm gonna, sorry, this yeah, this dot inches is equal to inches. So what basically it does is the actual parameters send these values in these formal parameters, and with the help of these formal parameters we assign uh, the formal parameters values to these instance variable. um, okay, so what it would do is whatever the user gives the values will be passed into this parameter, and then what we will do is we will make this feet assigned to this instance variable. This basically here says that this is the instance variable. Well, the other ways we can change the name of um, these variables which we are passing in this parametric form, and here we can do only feet is equal to f, but we won't be using that logic here. So now what I would do is I'm gonna use the setter getter. So public void as setter getter is public, so it is not passing any values, it is just taking the values because it's setting parameter. Public void set, so inches. So what to set inches, it need inches in the parameter, and then I'm gonna do is the start inches is equal to inches. So basically public void so I'm gonna be relaxing because okay, set feet double feet, this start feet is equal to feet. Okay, now we need to get these values, for which what I will be doing is I'm gonna use the public, but here the logic is to get these values you are basically wouldn't be using void. So what we would be getting in result will be the value of the feet, value of the instance variable. So we used feet with what data type, so we used it with double, so it will be returning the double values. Okay, public double and get. So basically we are going to do the inches part first. So we aren't taking any values in the inches, but we would be doing is we are gonna take the inches part from here, because the same class can basically use um, the private data member, any method of the same class. So it is gonna take the value and return that value. So where I would be returning that value, so return inches. So the same thing I will be applying here. I don't think so that this is any approach. Okay, get feet, return feet. Okay, okay, so main problem here is this. Okay, did I run? I didn't went for an output of this project. Okay, okay, now I've used the setter getters. Now we have taken the values from the users of feet and inches into this variable. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send these values to the set parameter with the help of object1. d1 dot set feet, and here you have taken the feet into the variable f1, so we will be using this in the um, actual parameters. Now d1 dot set inches i1, so basically these to send the values of the variable f1 which have saved the value that is passed to it from the user and was asked to enter the value of the feet. Now it would be sent to d1 dot with the help of the object, because it's a non-static method and we have to make objects in order to in order to call to provide any data to non-static method, we have to make objects. So we are doing the same here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the set feed data to here. Then what it would do is it will take the value of that feed, and then it's gonna be assigning the value of the feed to the instance variable, which is private. We can't modify directly the value of the feed. If it was public, then we could have. Now I will be taking another object of the class distance is equal to new. So here I would be using the argument constructor. So basically it was a double value, so I'm gonna be doing anything like, yeah. So I will be passing the value of the feet and the inches to this argument constructor, and this is gonna assign the value of the feet to the instance variable. Now what I'm gonna do is I don't want to print the value of these two. This is not basically our this is not related to our output. What our output is to check whether they are equal or not. Okay, that's our create a method that adds two distance objects. Basically, which two distance objects? D1 and D2. So to add these two objects, what we would be doing, and returns the added distance object. So basically it can be D3. Basically it can be a temporary or uh, temporary uh, object. So yeah, how to add these two objects? What if I go into this dev and I have to basically send the values of two objects into this. So I will be making another method that will be taking the objects and returning its value. So I'm gonna take public. So basically it's gonna return object which is of type class. So what was our class? It was distance. Now public distance. Now I have to name this method, which is add to distances. Now I would be taking two objects which will return the value. So I'm gonna take distance d. So basically what it will be doing is it will be taking value of both distances. Here I've so what I will be doing is sending these two values. So I'll be sending one value, one is there, with the help of an object I have to send these values. So with the help of one object, because it's a non-static method, with the help of one object, so I will be using d1 as the sender object, and if it's the sender object, then its characteristics, whatever its attributes were, will be saved in the instance variable. And what we would do is we are gonna be sending d2 with the help of this object. So this instant variable is this dot, and basically I'm making taking an object of this class, so which is saved in whatever object I made in the parameter. With the help of that object, values of d2 are saved in d. With the help of that object, I can take the values of d2 and whatever it is, this d dot feet, I'm gonna add this dot feet with the d dot feet. Let's check whether it works or not. So we have basically 26 minutes लग गए हैं. We have gone with the 26 minutes. We have what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna be talking in English because it is gonna help me in future whenever I'm gonna go with the interview thing or whatever it is, and in the influency part. Okay. I'm sleeping freely. Okay, so I'm sleeping freely. Distance t. So basically, I'm gonna be sending, okay, with the help of this object. So it is d1 dot set, no, it's add two distances, and I will be sending the value of d2 with the help of d1. So here I am. Okay, now this is basically the value of that of this is basically, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add these two, and where I would save that in another object. No, another object. Feet is equal to, how am I gonna do that in that way? Yeah, checking. If I say these two values and this dot feet plus d dot feet, so I'm gonna return these two values as an object. As an object. That means if I make another object of this class, distance t3 equal to new distance, I made this class t3, and I'm gonna do is d3 dot feet d3 dot feet equal to this dot feet. Okay, Now basically the both values are to saved into this. Okay. Now, sorry. Oh. Return these two values. Returns return d3 some. No, I'm not gonna return these two. Am I? See the method that adds 2 returns the added distance object. So I can only return when values. How I'm gonna return these two values? I'm gonna return the whole object. Return distance dot 3. So I'm gonna return this value. So I'm gonna return this value with the alpha class. With the alpha class, I have to. How I'm gonna return distance dot. When we pass a primitive type in a method, it is passed by value. When we pass an object to a method, the situation changes dramatically because objects are passed by what is effectively called by reference. Java does this interesting thing that's sort of hybrid between pass by value and pass by reference. Basically, a parameter cannot be changed by the function, but the function can ask the parameter to change itself by calling method within it. While creating a variable class time will only create a reference to. Thus, we can pass this reference to a method, the parameter that receives it. Changes to the object inside the method do reflect the object used as an argument. So what we are doing is we're gonna pass 122. Here is a method foo. So basically what it did is cube object, so it's made a new object, and this dot value is equal to this dot value, return object. So it's returning the whole object. So it's returning the whole object. If I return d3, will it? Yeah, it is. So I'll return the whole object. If I have returned the whole object and I made this object here, the subject is only accessible by this method, not out of the class. If I'm not wrong, d3. Okay, d3 is not working. So what if I make this class here as well? No, what to do? d3 not so. So basically it has made a method which it is Is it correct? So we can do illustration. No. We are adding these two jets basically, and whatever D3 is returned into this with the help of this. So why I can't access D3 that get feed? If I want to access the private data member feed, yeah, can't do it like yeah. Now I want to see that did I assignment demonstrations. So added distance. So basically it has so yeah good distance added distance. So it has made an object added distance through which it took the values of this dot feed and d dot feed two values and returned the added distance. So basically what we can do is we can make a class here distance d3 is equal to new yeah it is good if it is giving the correct answer. So what if I change values to 1 and 2? I'm gonna run this. So answer is correct. So I'm gonna do this into single line d3 feet of d3 are feet of d3 are Now what I would be doing is to check whether these two are equal or not. Okay, so what I would be checking is whether or not these two are equal or not. Create a method that adds two distance objects and returns the added distance object. Okay, done. Added distance. Create another method equals that takes as input another distance and returns true if two distances are equal and false if they are not. The method equals takes and returns true, so its returning is boolean equals taking what that takes as input and returns if two distances are equal. So it's taking object distance, added distance. Yes, yeah, taking that and then check if added distance, if added distance is equal to and checks if the takes since remember it is okay, so we have to take input. For that I have to import java dot util dot scanner, yeah, scanner scanner system dot in. Making another object double I4 is equal to sc dot next double. the formal parameters. Okay, so I'm gonna take the field. Oh, sorry, filter. I always forget because we don't wouldn't maybe used double in C++ very less. We always used to take values in integer form. So basically we have used the equal part. Now boolean is equal to true. So we take the error distance part. The error distance is T3. We know the error distance. So what is the error distance? Okay. So we know So yeah, it is done.